Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of the Playbook Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Nick, joined by Trey and Jaden once again. Really excited about this episode, week 2 of the NFL. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot of games to go over. There was a ton of upsets this week in the NFL. There was a ton of injuries this week in the NFL, and we're here to cover all of it. So let's jump right in. Thursday night football, almost a week from yesterday. It was the Buffalo Bills taking on the Miami Dolphins in Miami. We had the chance to go over this game a little bit earlier last week. We all picked the Bills to dominate, and the Bills dominated. Absolutely dominated. A couple takeaways from this game. I know Tua suffered another concussion. We're praying for him and his family, obviously, because that's really scary. A third concussion in the last 2 years. Really, really dangerous. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But just to cover the game, the Bills, man, these guys look legit. They look tough. They look strong. How are we feeling about the Bills, guys? Are the Bills an actual contender, Trey? What do you think?
I think so. At first, I was a little concerned about it because of Stephon Diggs leaving. But I think they're actually better without Stephon Diggs.
Seems that way, huh? Yeah.
Like, because Stephon Diggs was a big baby crying to Josh Allen, so he was.
Yeah.
I mean, he said on Twitter, and I'm like, dude, now he's a lot. Now look at him now. He's happy for Jalen, so is Allen. So,
Yeah.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jaden, you got anything else to add on that one?
I think the Bills obviously look really good. I also think this was hey, we're the Bills and we're gonna beat the Dolphins like always.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think that they came out wanting to keep the record going and saying that you're not gonna beat us and we're gonna come out and do what we always do against y'all, which was destroy them. So
Yeah. That's a good point. I think my main takeaway here is one, Josh Allen didn't need to do anything. He had a pretty modest game. I think he only rushed for 2 yards that game. He rushed for 2 yards on 2 carries. They didn't have to put him in harm's way. He threw 19 passes. And he had this was like a James Cook show. I think James Cook had 3 touchdowns in this game. They showed that they can dominate without Josh Allen having to go crazy, which I think is what a lot of people were worried about. How are the Bills going to do? Josh Allen has to play hero ball. This is a tough football team, guys.
Yeah.
These guys are tough. That secondary is legit tough. The Dolphins have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. We all know this, right?
right.
Tyreek Hill couldn't do anything. And there's no Tre'Davious White anymore, right? This is just a really tough secondary. I was super impressed with the Bills. But yeah, like Jaden said, it's just another one of those things where the Bills were going to dominate the Dolphins. It's how it goes. Not a lot to take away from that other than that the Bills, they did what they had to do. They went on the road and they whooped them. Moving on to a little bit of a more serious topic here, to Tagovailoa, the quarterback for the Dolphins, like I said earlier, suffered his 3rd concussion in 2 years. Really scary stuff. He's on IR right now. He's going to meet with a bunch of neurologists, is what a lot of things said. I don't really want to talk about whether we think he should retire or not, because we don't have any say in that, right? He's a grown man. If he wants to play, he can play. I really hope that whatever these neurologists are able to see will lead him in the right direction. But I don't really think that we have any right to say whether he should retire or not. Just want him to be healthy, want him to be safe. So I think we should leave it at that, unless you guys have anything else to add about Tua.
Yeah, I do. Tua, football's a dangerous game. You gotta be careful. Yeah, I know. I know it was interesting with Damar Hamlin being involved in it too.
Yeah, that was
because 2 years ago he died on the field basically, but Tua needs to be healthy. Me personally, I think he should wear a gardening cap and his helmet.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility if he wants to come back and play. The guardian cap is an option for him. I think if he does end up playing a game, we'll probably see him with one of those. I just want him to be healthy. I want him to make the right decision. So
I think, considering he's had a concussion almost every year he's played.
Yeah.
He even got one in Alabama too. In Bama for the last 4 and 5 years.
For his sake, like y'all are saying, the guarding cap is definitely, something he should consider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely scary. Like I said, our thoughts and prayers are out to him and his family, hoping a speedy recovery for him. So we're going to move on here to probably the worst game of the week, the Cowboys versus the Saints. I mean,
Disappointing.
I feel like we should have a moment of silence for the
Yeah,
Cowboys right now.
let's do it
Okay,
right
moment
now.
of silence. Okay.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah. Moment of silence. Rest in peace, Dallas Cowboys. The New Orleans Saints coming into Jerry World as a touchdown underdog and putting the beat down on the Cowboys, winning 44-19. It was the Alvin Kamara show.
It was
He had
like Barry Sanders.
He had 115 yards on 20 carries, 3 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, he added another touchdown through the air and another 65 yards. Just total domination. I mean, I have a lot to say. I have some X's and O's things to go over on this game, but before we get to that, I kind of want to get y'all's thoughts. What do you guys think went wrong here? What's going wrong for the Cowboys? Is this more of a Cowboys thing, or is this more of the Saints being a team we didn't think was going to really, really shine? Jaden, what do you think?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, we all in last week's episode we picked the Cowboys to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
So
we all did, unfortunately.
And I've been saying, I mean, I really think that the Saints are a sleeper team. A lot of people have not before the season. I mean, not many people had a lot to say about the Saints.
Yeah.
But I think coming out now and doing what they did to the Cowboys, I mean, it really puts them out there on the radar.
Yeah.
The only really decent thing that the Cowboys did that game was when CeeDee Lamb evaded those 2 tackles.
Yeah.
And scored the touchdown. But
yeah, that's about it. Real quick, for a lot of people that are saying, well, it's the Cowboys, they always stink it up sometimes. This is the Cowboys at home. Okay, so just so you guys know, the Cowboys before this game had won 16 straight home games. Wow. That's almost an entire season. The last time they lost was a couple years ago in the season opener to guess who? Tom Brady. Tom Brady. Right. So that was the last time they lost at home. Derek Carr is not Tom Brady. I don't think. Maybe he is. Who knows? But he's balling right now. But this is the Cowboys at home. So, Trey, what's your takeaway on this one?
Yeah, I agree with Jaden. I think defense looked terrible. They were confused. They couldn't stop anything.
Mm-mm.
I mean, they probably couldn't stop a Kid Zink player in Amarillo.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. And,
probably not.
Our defense was really good last year. I know last year we had
struggled against the run, though.
Yeah, we did. But I think letting go of Stephon Gilmore is a big mistake.
Yeah.
It's a big mistake.
Yeah.
And we look confused. We look lost out there. I turned it off after third quarter. I said I can't do this anymore. I turned it off. I couldn't watch it anymore. I wanted to cry. I had a tissue box next to me, wanting to cry.
Yeah.
But man, we have all these people too. Like Tolbert, who in the heck is that? Like we're all
Tolbert.
in though, right? We're all in though, right? According to Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of jump into this. I have a lot to say on this game. So, the Saints' offensive coordinator is Clint Kubiak. He's a Kyle Shanahan tree, right under the tree. He was in San Francisco. It seems like the Cowboys, and it's interesting because this is the second defensive coordinator, right? Dan Quinn last year, Mike Zimmer this year. The Shanahan zone running scheme seems to just dominate the Cowboys. It's a personnel issue. And I watched a couple of different film tapes on this game. They were running directly into Micah Parsons. Okay, so we know Micah's a great pass rusher. We know Micah's he can wreck a game. We saw that week 1 versus the Browns. He can wreck a game. He cannot stop the run to save his life. Yeah. Put film of him rushing the passer, put film of him trying to stop the run side by side. It looks like 2 different players. He's out of it. He's lazy. He's not attacking his blocks. He's like letting these O-linemen bully him. It's bad. So what the Shanahan system is that zone run, right? Zone run. They are zone running directly into Micah, and we don't have the D tackles to help that, right? Mozzie Smith can't do anything. Overshown, a great young pass rusher. He's undersized. He can't do anything. So if you watch the tape on that game, it was the Saints just running directly into Micah, daring him to do something, and he couldn't. And you watch the Bills game, you watch the Cowboys game. The secondary on the Bills tackle. They tackle.
Yeah.
They tackle.
For sure.
Those boys in the secondary on the Cowboys, they like to get picks. They like to be cool and get picks. They can't tackle. They can't. I love Trayvon Diggs. I love the rookie. They can't tackle. So Alvin Kamara's the O-line's bullying Micah. He runs straight into Micah. The secondary can't do anything. Really bad. Really bad. I wish we could have the film here so I could show how bad it was and just expose how bad. I don't think it's a scheme thing because I think Mike Zimmer's a great defensive coordinator. I think it's a personnel issue.
Yeah.
I wish Luke Kuechly would just be like reborn and then play on the Cowboys as linebacker. I mean, it's that bad. That's honestly who we need. So,
and speaking on that, Coach on 806 Sports Radio on Monday called in saying that they should trade Michael Parsons, that they shouldn't sign extinction. People were calling this guy the next Lawrence Taylor, and that's very blasphemous, especially after this past game. So do you think that do you agree with that coach where he said they shouldn't sign Micah?
I'll go and then Jaden, you can go here. I don't think they should trade him because pass rushers are hard to find. He's a great pass rusher. He's a great pass rusher. I think he could have an 18+ sack season. I don't know about this year, but I think he could in his future. I think pass rushers are a little too valuable to trade unless, hey, Pittsburgh, if TJ Watt's available, that's the kind of player you have to get. If Mike is getting traded, you got to get a TJ Watt level. That's not happening. So I think probably should keep him. Just help him on the defensive line with some better defensive linemen, right? Like I wish Aaron Donald would come back and be on, it's just that the D line is just getting bullied and Mike is not a great run stopper and you can hide him if you have a good run stopping defensive line. And that's not what the Cowboys have. Jaden.
Yeah. I think like Nick said, he's a great pass rusher. I think he is, me personally, I think they were right by using him. But as far as signing him or whatever, I think for someone like him, I think he's got a little more to prove before they make that decision or not. But as far as right now, I don't think they could get worse by not keeping him. By keeping or by dropping him.
I think you trade him for picks, you get worse. Unless if you can get like 5 first rounders for him, like okay, then we can talk. But I think he's a little too valuable for that. And like what's a realistic trade package? Like how is that even going to work? Because he's valuable. He's a good pass rusher. He's a great pass rusher. Great pass rushers are valuable, right? So I don't think so. I don't think Jerry would trade him because he loves the guys he drafts, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't see that happening. That's an interesting topic because if he wants too much, you could, but he just paid Dak $60 million. And don't think I forgot about you, Dak. We're coming to talk about you now, Dak Prescott. 2 horrible picks, guys.
Ooh.
Those were bad, like bad. 293 yards, 39 attempts. That's 7.5 yards an attempt. Derek Carr had 15, a 1 touchdown because CeeDee Lamb's incredible, and 2 bad picks. He only got sacked 3 times. That O-line, I thought it was going to be a lot better than it is, but we saw Cooper Rush in the game. That's how bad it got. So what do you guys think about Dak's performance this game after a solid week 1, Trey?
Back to week. I think he don't look the same like he did last year, because last year he had a little turnaround after was it losing against San Francisco? I think.
Mm-hmm.
He don't look the same, and I don't know.
He's playing MVP.
Yeah, he was last year. Last year he was.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of embarrassing how a backup QB had to start for you.
Yeah. Jaden, what'd you think of Dak in this game?
Honestly, compared to obviously week 1 and last year, it's a little disappointing to see. I know that, you know, especially seeing I believe the Cowboys were set to win by 6 points, I think is what it said last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and obviously it's not just Dak that caused that, but
No. Plenty of blame to go around.
I just think for someone like Dak, who we know can put up good numbers, we've seen him do it, especially with teams like the Saints. I think he just needs to. I think he could bounce back from it. I think he needs to really step it up next week.
Yeah, for sure. The Cowboys scored 19 points. That's misleading because Brandon Aubrey scored 12 of them.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's probably the team.
He might be the best player on the Cowboys. I'm not even kidding. I'm not joking, guys. He's probably the best kicker in the league. Him. There's some other really good kickers. Him, but he's probably up there. This game would have been horrible without him. Yeah. That was it really seems like they struggle, like I was saying earlier with the Shanahan coaching tree, because who always beats him? Obviously Shanahan, the Niners. Who whooped them in the playoffs last year? Matt LaFleur and the Packers. Matt LaFleur, Shanahan tree. Aaron Jones, zone run. They struggle really bad versus the zone run. It's a personnel issue, right? And yeah, go ahead.
Not only that, they don't like playing physical football at all.
No, the secondary does not. Guys, they don't tackle. They don't. Yeah. Like I watched every snap of the Bills-Dolphins game. Same. And then I watched half of the Dallas Saints game, and I'm like, they're not tackling. Like so in that Dolphins-Bills game, they were feeding Achane over and over and over and over. But he never really broke loose. He's a big play guy. He got a lot of yards because they fed him a lot. But the moment he got into the secondary, tackled. And I think a lot of people don't realize how important that is, simply because, well, he got 7 yards. Well, he could have gotten 20, but the secondary stopped him, right? And the Cowboys secondary can't stop Jack. And the D-line can't stop anything. And I'm sorry, the rest of the year, this is going to spell big time trouble for the Cowboys, because teams are going to see that and be like, guys, we can run on them. Find Micah and run in his direction. Guess who they play next week?
The Ravens.
Lamar Jackson's going to have 700 rushing yards. I mean, and Derrick Henry. Oh Lord. Just, yeah.
Man.
Good. It's going to be rough moving forward. I think that's enough Cowboys talk. If you guys have anything else to add on the Cow Schmucks. Okay. All right. Cow Schmucks. Speaking of Ravens, we're gonna move on to the Ravens-Raiders game. I was saying at the beginning of the episode, guys, there's a lot of upsets this week. A lot of craziness. We just talked about one. Saints versus Cowboys was a big upset. This was a really big upset here. The Raiders, stunning, absolutely stunning. The Ravens, and just, I mean, Gardner Minshew was completing third down and 11. I mean, it's just like, it looked rough. Like, I really don't know what happened here. I think I know the answer, but what are your guys' takes on this, Jaden?
It goes to what I said again. Lamar Jackson still looking like a running back. And
yeah.
I mean, he got 45 yards for his team, which is, I mean, obviously good, but I think as a quarterback, I think he needs. I think him running all this time, one, it's going to get him injured at some point, and he's going to be out, and they're going to lose Lamar Jackson for who knows how long. But I think that yes, his rushing is working, and it's getting them yards, but is that something you want your quarterback doing? I just think that for someone like the Ravens, who has so many other assets to be running the ball, I don't think he should be running the ball as much as he is.
Yeah, for sure. Trey, what do you think?
I think Max Crosby looked like a beast, man. Max Crosby. He was like,
yeah, he's awesome.
The dude was stopping Derrick Henry.
He's awesome.
He made him look human. And back to Lamar Jackson, the last part of the game, he had a chance to score a touchdown, but he free flicked it around. But overall, it's disappointing. The Ravens they don't look that good at all.
0-2 we're like, guys, this is a team that's won, 10, 12 plus games for a while now. It's like really interesting. I think my major takeaway is that defense is not the same as it was last year.
No.
So they lost Patrick Queen. Everyone was like, well, it's Roquan Smith. That's why that defense is good. Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith is what made that defense good. And they're getting exposed. Guys, this is Gardner Minshew. No disrespect to Gardner Minshew. He's in the NFL. I'm not, obviously. But they made him look like prime Tom Brady in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And like, I don't understand. Devontae Smith. I'm not Devontae Smith. That's the Eagles. Devontae Adams, extremely good wide receiver, right?
Right.
Brock Bowers, he's awesome. I want to talk about him a little later. But I think what the Ravens should have done is double Devontae Adams and be like, okay, you can't have this all-pro wide receiver beat us somewhere else. Instead, Devontae goes for 110 and a touchdown.
Yep.
And it's like, this was the best defense in the league last year. I watched this team go to San Francisco and embarrass the Niners last year. It's not the same. I don't really know what's happening. After the game, Zay Flowers retweeted something that said how Lamar doesn't get him the ball in the second half, basically. And I don't know if that means anything. I don't know if there's anything going on there. But I'm worried about the Ravens. I think this loss is bad. This is a bad loss.
Yeah, it was awful, man.
I mean, he only got 11 targets.
Yeah, I mean, they were like all in. I think they were like most of them were in the first half. So he gets fed in the first half, and I don't really know what's happening here. Derrick Henry had 18 rushes for 84 yards, almost 5 yards a carry, which is good. But I don't know. I don't really know what's going on here because their kicker, Justin Tucker, used to be the best in the league, and now he can't make a 50-yarder to save his life.
Yeah.
In this year, only 2 50-yard kicks have been missed. Both of them are by Justin Tucker. So, excuse me. I'm really worried. Like, again, Max Crosby blew the game up. He had 2 sacks, 4 tackles for losses. This performance right here goes to show how incredible Joe Alt was in the first week for the Chargers. We'll talk about Joe Alt at some point in the Chargers later because they look pretty awesome. But I'm worried. I think Ravens fans should be worried. This is strange. I don't really know what's happening. So,
I mean, I agree with the tweet that Zay Flowers put out because I mean, in 7 receptions, he got 91 yards.
Yeah,
which, I mean, I would want if I'm him, I mean, I'd want the ball more, showing that I'm putting up this many yards on every reception. So.
Yeah, I mean, 13 yards per reception. He's a great young wide receiver. I don't really know what's happening. They're like in this weird thing where like Lamar's like saying that he wants to pass the ball more, but then he's like, nah, I'm gonna run more. I don't really know what's happening. So, hey, Trey, you got anything else on this game, or is it just like goofy?
I thought it was goofy how Lamar Jackson didn't throw the ball. I mean, that guy, he has Derrick Henry for a reason.
Yeah.
And he's not using Derrick Henry.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he had 18 carries this game, but like a lot of them were in the first half. They seem to like go rush heavy, like getting their number one receiver targets. And then they really strange, kind of in a weird funk, but I don't know. They have a chance to course correct. Obviously, it's very early in the season. They get to go to they get to play the woeful Cowboys. So that should be an easy win for them. Baltimore is favored in Dallas. Guys, John Harbaugh, you're not watching, but if you are, Derrick Henry, right at Micah Parsons, every play, y'all will win. Trust me.
For real, y'all will.
Every play. I'm dead serious. You think Trayvon Diggs, he can't tackle Alvin Kamara. What's he going to do to Derrick Henry? Get ran over. Derrick Henry because of Chris Collinsworth, we know he's 250 pounds. He's big. Okay. So I mean, John, listen to me, buddy. Run it at Micah. Trust me, it's going to work. It's going to work.
We got video evidence that it works.
We'll go over the film. Fly me out to Baltimore. We can talk about it, buddy. Just let me know. Just call me. Your people call my people. So yeah, they have a chance to course correct early in the season. So, I mean, I'd be worried if I was a Ravens fan, but at the same time, they're going to win games. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a great game though. Great game to watch.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Moving on here, another upset. This is 3 touchdown favorite pluses in a row we're talking about here. The Bake Show and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers go to Ford Field and beat my pick to win the NFC, the Lions. This was a really weird game because I thought Baker, like, he kind of struggled passing a little bit. He was great on the ground. He had a pick. Like, he had 185 passing yards, and 41 of them was his longest pass. It seems like they can't run the ball at all, which is very weird because they're winning these games. Chris Godwin looked amazing. Jared Goff played really bad. It's just like really, he had 55 pass attempts, guys, for 307 yards. That 34 completions, 5.5 yards an attempt. So I mean, like, what's going on here? Is this more of a Bucs thing? Is this a Lions thing? Are the Bucs a legit NFC contender? Like, what do you guys think here?
I don't know. I mean, like you said, it was a weird game for someone like a team like the Lions to lose this game was a little strange. One thing I did notice, I mean, it's nothing one way or the other, but you're talking about how the Bucs couldn't really run that much. Baker Mayfield had the most rushing yards over their entire team.
Yeah, by double, like by 12.
Yeah, he had 34 yards, and no one was even touching that close.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like you said, also, Jared Goff didn't play that great of a game either. I mean,
yeah,
too many passes and not many completions to make it show. So
I don't know.
I don't know if it was just a off game for them or just a weird game for them, or if, the Buccaneers are actually just that good. But
I mean, if we look here, so real quick, and then you can go, Trey. Chris Godwin had 117 yards receiving. He was awesome. Guys, that means Baker Mayfield only completed 68 yards to all the rest of his receivers. The Lions almost had 500 yards of offense.
Mm-hmm.
The Bucs barely had over 200. They had the same amount of penalties. They won the turnover battle. They won the turnover battle by 1 because Baker had an interception. Jared Goff had 2. This is a legit defense. Brian Bowles has put out a legit defense. He is sending heat, and we know Jared Goff is not good versus the blitz, right? He likes a clean pocket. He looks best there. But I mean, this is I think the Bucs are legit. Trey, what do you think?
I agree. I think Baker resurrected his career as well. But Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't know if you noticed it, but especially last week and this week, he don't look the same as he did last year. He really doesn't look the same at all. And I think if the Lions had good defense, though, they did. I think one of the players had 5 sacks against Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I mean, guys, Aiden Hutchinson is crazy good.
Yeah.
If Jared Goff actually played like actual good quarterback, they would have won that game. That's what I would think. Because
I'm so confused. So Aiden Hutchinson has 4.5 sacks.
Yeah.
They have 5 sacks as a team. The Buccaneers had 0 sacks, but they were creating pressure. This is where box score doesn't tell the whole story. We can read this box score and all day be like, well, it looks like the Lions should have won, but they didn't. They didn't, and it was crazy. Baker had the go-ahead rushing touchdown in the third quarter, which won them the game, and that defense is legit. I'm really interested to watch the Bucs moving forward. They're 2-0. They do have the juggernaut Thanos Saints in their division, so we'll see how that goes. But really interesting game. Detroit was a 7.5-point favorite.
Yeah,
Man,
crazy stuff. I don't know. I mean,
man.
Crazy.
If Jared Goff would have played well, they would have won that game because that's how that defense was.
Yeah, I mean, man, craziness. But yeah, we'll go ahead and move on here from that. That was a fun game. Interested to see the Bucs moving forward and see how the Lions bounce back. Really worried about Dan Campbell's clock management. He was crying on the podium after the game, saying he lost him the game, which he literally did. He was crying and he said he lost him the game. I mean, I respect his accountability. Like, he was being accountable, and something like the Eagles coach is impossible of doing. So we'll talk about the Eagles in a little bit. But moving on here, my personal favorite game of the week. The Minnesota Vikings taking on the San Francisco 49ers, beating them. I'm respectfully, I'm not Garrett Wilson. Moments said before disaster, right? So Justin Jefferson goes for 133 yards with a 97-yard touchdown mixed in there. Sam Darnold and the Vikings absolutely stun the Niners. Really, really interesting game. Injury bug seems to have gotten the Niners. I know they have a lot of injuries they're dealing with. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey on IR. It seems like Deebo Samuel's going to be out for a little bit. Do we think, how are you guys feeling? Is it time to bail on the Niners? Do we think Brock can keep them afloat during this time? Brock did not play well. He had 2 turnovers. He could have had a third. He sacked 6 times. I want to talk about the scheme the Vikings did a little bit later. But what do you guys think, Trey?
I know the offensive coordinator. I know the head coach was under the Shanahan's as well, and he knows that offense very good. He knows how Shanahan works. I don't know. I think the Vikings own the Niners now. I think
they won last year. They beat them last year.
They did, and Monday Night Football, and I think it's time to nose the bell on the Niners a little bit. I think Brock Purdy's never been elite to me, but he's been a good QB. But
he's not bad.
It's not bad, but man, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, bro.
Yeah, and a fumble. Yeah.
And Sam Darnold, man, to Justin Jefferson, that was a crazy throw, though.
Yeah. Sam Darnold made a couple throws. I was literally like, I thought I was watching a USC game back. I mean, I was like, what was that? I mean, he was dealing it, like absolutely dicing it. Jaden, what's your takeaway? You think we're bailing on the Niners?
I don't know. This Brock Purdy that we're seeing right now is not the same Brock Purdy that went all the way to the Super Bowl.
No,
it's not. He didn't play good last week either.
I don't know if that's because he
played okay.
I don't know if that's because of the way that they're running the offense and he just doesn't like the way that it's going and it's not working for him, or if he just personally is just not performing as well as he did last year. I don't know what exactly it is, but I mean, I don't. For someone to see the 49ers, go to the Super Bowl last year, it's hard to say just yet whether you want to bail on them yet.
That's true.
That's what it seems.
I think that if they keep going down this route, like if next week they don't put up impressive numbers or anything like that, anything worth noting, and I think we're getting pretty close on bailing on them.
Yeah. For sure. I kind of want to jump into the scheme. Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator, Brock Purdy said after the game that he was confused a lot. And if I went back and studied a little bit of the film, he was doing the most chaotic stuff. So one time he had 7 guys in the box. So he had five guys on the line, and two guys were the linebackers were looking like they were going to blitz. And I was watching it press play. These guys go into Tampa too from that.
Yeah,
I'm watching that. I'm like, I would have been confused too. The one of the linebackers just sprinting to the middle of the field. He was being chaotic, and there was multiple times where they would load up the side that Trent Williams was on. So you'd have guys like Dallas Turner and guys like Pat Jones who were on that side. Typically, he's a left tackle, so they were on the right side of the line if you're looking at it from the angle of the defense. And they would send both of them directly into the Trent and the guard. I'm not sure. I don't know the Niners left guard. I apologize, but they would send him, and then one of those guys would would wrap around and go slingshot around, and there was just the B gap was wide open, sack, and he did that so many times. The Vikings did that over and over and over, and the Niners O-line looked lost. They looked lost, confused. They looked so out of it. Trent can't guard everyone on his own. They were sending multiple different looks. They did it on both sides. They did that same thing where they'd overload, and then one guy would wrap around to a wide open gap. I mean, it was impressive. Very hats off to Brian Flores. He confused Shanahan. He confused Brock Purdy. There was nothing for it. There's no answer. I highly suggest to any defensive nuts out there to go watch that film. Brian Flores was putting on a masterclass of defensive calling. This Vikings defensive unit, guys, is legit good. Legit good. Yeah. Very, very good. So how are we feeling on the Vikings? Is this just, any given Sunday thing, or are they a legit good team?
Probably both. Maybe a little bit both. Who did they play last week again?
They didn't play, and I don't think they played anyone very good last week. Let me see. Giants.
Yeah, and they lost that game, right?
No, they won. They beat the Giants.
They won, okay.
They dominated the Giants.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, look at Derek Carr.
Yeah, I mean, if the MVP race ended right now, it's literally between Baker, Sam Darnold, and Derek Carr.
Yeah, man.
And you could probably throw Alvin Kamara in there now, but
people thought they're all buses, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah, I enjoyed watching it. Like I was saying, the defensive scheme for Brian Flores was masterful. I'm worried about Brock.
Yeah,
he's not very good without Christian McCaffrey.
No, he's not.
And Jordan Mason had another good game, 20 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown. He had another good game. He's not lacking rushing yards. I think the thing that really separates McCaffrey and Jordan Mason, obviously McCaffrey's a better runner, but Mason's very serviceable, I think, is the receiving. Brock misses having the check down to Christian McCaffrey, like easy, simple, boom. McCaffrey, breaks a tackle or two, scores a touchdown. The Vikings game last year, they threw McCaffrey. He threw McCaffrey a check down, and McCaffrey took it 30 yards straight to the house. So I think he's missing the receiving capabilities of Christian McCaffrey, but
he almost looks a little uncomfortable playing.
He does. He looks very uncomfortable. Obviously, Brian Flores' scheme, but even in week one, like he had an okay game. It wasn't anything crazy. But he looked really uncomfortable in this game, and I think a lot of teams are going to start taking in those different coverages that Brian Flores was using in those schemes and masking different coverages and using that against him. Because it was really, really, really fun to watch. But Vikings, man, Saints, Bucks, 3 best teams in the NFL apparently. So. But yeah, we're going to move on here. We're going to talk about the Cardinals versus LA. All I got to say is Marvin Harrison Jr., welcome to the NFL, buddy. You had yourself a day. He had himself a day. Cardinals dominate the Rams, the battered Rams. Marvin Harrison Jr., 130 yards on 4 catches, 2 touchdowns. Had he said, guys, hey, y'all were saying I was slow last week. I'm not slow no more. He dominated. Kyler looked awesome. Takeaways from this game, guys. I know the Rams are really beat up, so we don't have much to talk about them. But how are we feeling on the Cardinals, Jaden?
I mean, a lot of the teams that with the Cardinals, I mean, the teams that we're looking at who think that they're going to get destroyed end up destroying the team that they're playing against, which is that's kind of been the theme for this week. But I don't know, the Cardinals. I mean, they look good this game. I mean, for sure. I mean, like you said, Marvin Harrison. I mean, those are impressive numbers right there. But I don't know. I don't have a lot to say on them, but I think that they're looking good so far.
Yeah, Trey.
Kyler Murray looks pretty happy because I know before he's been in past situations. So, I mean, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, man. Marvin Harris looked like his dad.
He did.
Look just like his dad, man.
Should have taken that junior off the jersey.
For real, put his dad's number on there.
He was balling. He was balling, man.
I think with the Rams, I think they truly do miss Aaron Donald, man. They miss him. That defense ain't the same without Aaron Donald at all. And Cooper Kupp didn't play that good either. And he didn't look the same at all. Kind of shocking about the Rams, but we'll see how happens with the Rams. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals look like a legit team I have here. Do we think that they could be a contender in a pretty weak NFC? I'm really interested to see because I know the Rams are beat. They're brute. I mean, just they lost Puka. They lost Cooper Kupp this game. Their left tackle, they're on their 3rd string left tackle. I mean, it's rough. It's unlucky because I feel like they just went through this recently. I think 2 years ago they went through a pretty rough one. But yeah, I like the Drew Petzing, the offense that the Cardinals are running. That's their offensive coordinator. I like it. Kyler had a perfect passer rating this game, guys. He had a 158.3. He was unbelievably good. Mm-hmm. I mean, he made some throws. Well, the first touchdown to Marvin Harrison in the back of the end zone, I legit had that might have been the best throw I've seen all year. I know it's only week 2, but there's been a lot of passes thrown. That was an absolute dime. I think that and the Anthony Richardson pass from last week are probably the 2 best passes of the year so far. He looks awesome. James Conner's running the ball hard. Yeah. They're running it strong. They have a good run game. It looks like that defense, I want to preface Rams O-line's really beat up. So I'm really interested to see Cardinals take on a healthier team. I know they lost last week, but I'm really intrigued on this team simply because Kyler's good. Kyler's a good team, and they lost to the Bills. And in week 1, I'm not going to hold that against them. So, but yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Are we thinking Kyler Murray could potentially have a sleeper MVP season this year? How are we feeling on that?
I think so. He's Marvin Harrison Jr. I think that's a big plus for Kyler Murray because before, I think he got drafted by some baseball team is what I recall.
He was drafted to the Oakland A's.
Yeah, and
he's a generational athlete.
He really is. He is, and I think he kind of resurrected his career as well with Marvin Harrison Jr. on his team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Kyler Murray, he went 17 for 21 on his passes. I mean, he only 4 incompletions, which is, I mean, those are pretty good. I mean, good numbers, especially when you have someone who's able to, take the ball and you pass him the ball and he's going to put up good numbers for you. So, I mean, I don't know. I think they have a good shot at. They're I definitely see them as a playoff team from what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, I mean, I like because I think because their offensive coordinator, Petzing, he was from the Browns, so he was under Kevin Stefanski, who was under Kyle Shanahan. So they this like run zone scheme that every team seemingly is running now. It works. I mean, it's a very quarterback friendly system, but the difference here is Kyler can make any throw on the field.
He can.
I mean, he simply can. His touchdown pass to let me see who it was. I believe it was the tight end, if I'm not mistaken. No, it's to Elijah Higgins. I was thinking Trey McBride, but the pass he threw to Elijah Higgins, I don't know if y'all saw it. He's running, he runs around, he evades like 3 tackles. Some guy grabs his leg, he runs off, he throws the ball, absolute dot, turns around like a Steph Curry 3-pointer before the ball's even caught. I mean, he has a swagger back, he's confident, he likes his team, he's got a top 5 wide receiver talent. He's got a good tight end. He's got some pretty decent other wide receivers. He's got a running game. Yeah. I'm high on the Cardinals, guys.
Same.
They're fun to watch. They're fun to watch, but I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for Kyler. I like their head coach Gannon a lot. I think he can, maybe he's a defensive guy, so we'll see. I'm excited to see how they continue on. I believe they play. Let me just double check here. They play the Lions. Big game. It's in Arizona, but I think that's going to be a good game. That should be a good game. That'll be a good test for the defense specifically because looking forward to that. Any other thoughts on the Cardinals game?
No, watch out for Kyler Murray though.
Watch out for him. Absolutely. Watch out for him. He's healthy. He's balling, man. Balling. All right, we're going to move on here. Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Burrowhead, as it was dubbed because the Bengals won a single game there. The Chiefs win 26-25 on a Harrison Butker game-winning field goal. How many times have you said Harrison Butker game-winning field goal in your life? Probably like 10. That guy's unbelievably good. Yeah, and we'll talk about him a little bit later, but I kind of want to get right into this. Mahomes plays probably the worst game of his career. It's either this or the Super Bowl versus the Bucs. But in that game, his O-line was absolutely shredded. So, this was the worst game I've seen Mahomes play with my own eyes. He has 151 yards. He has one really good pass all day to Rashee Rice. 2 boneheaded picks, like Dak Prescott level picks. Mm-hmm. Bad. Joe Burrow outplays Mahomes, I believe, in this game. It seems like the Bengals outplayed them, but the Chiefs still won. Do the Chiefs have some sort of black magic thing? Did the Chiefs prove they're still the team to beat here, guys? What do y'all think?
Fortunately, that's my Super Bowl pick. I still believe in them. This happens every year. They start off slow, and then they come back and do something in the middle of the season. But Travis Kelce ain't looking the same at all. Stephen A. made a point that Taylor Swift maybe could be a part of that. They showed more of her more than they did Travis Kelce. That's how bad he played. He's been an all-pro tight end for the past 4 years, I believe. And
long time.
Man, I'm disappointed in Travis Kelce the most. Yeah. Mahomes, and not only that same dude on the offensive line made the same penalty.
Jawan Taylor.
He did. Guard. He's that guy that needs to get cut. If I'm Andy Reid, I'm cutting the guy. I will be mad.
Yeah.
I would be so mad. My offensive line did that to me, but I don't know. I think they'll bounce back though. The Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's funny we're saying bounce back when they won the game.
Yeah.
It's like the Chiefs can play bad. They played bad. Let me pull up the stats here. They were outgained offensively. They had more turnovers by a lot, 3-1. 2 horrible interceptions, and Carson Steele, the rookie running back, had a pretty bad fumble. But it makes no sense to me how the Chiefs can do this. You watch the game. Okay, guys, next week, a game I want y'all to play next week. Everyone listening, you guys, next game, the Chiefs play the Falcons Monday Night Football, okay? Get a piece of tape, duct tape, put it over the scoreboard on your screen. And at the end of the game, say who you think won. You're probably going to say the Falcons. You're going to pull the tape off, and the Chiefs are going to win. Guarantee it. That it's like I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't really have any answers. Pacheco had a great game though. Pacheco, which we got to talk about him in a little bit. He did have surgery on a fractured tibia, I believe. He'll be out for about 6 to 10 weeks, give or take. So,
but
he played great. I think that's about it. And the defense, I think the defense played pretty good. But Jaden, what's your takeaway on this game?
It's one thing about the Chiefs is they definitely know how to win.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Even if they play a bad game like this, they still know how to win at the end of the day. But the bigger thing, we were talking about Travis Kelce. It almost looks like whoever's coordinating the offense doesn't want him to get any touches on the ball or any targets. Because he had 1 target and 1 reception. 3 targets, 1 reception. But you have Isaiah Pacheco, Rashee Rice. They got the most receptions, and it kind of showed between the last few games too. Travis Kelce just is not getting that many targets, and I don't know what the reasoning is behind that, or if I'm just not seeing something. But it could be because he's got something else distracting him, or someone else, I guess we should say. But I don't know. I mean, he's definitely a big player on that team, and I think, I'd like to see more out of him. I think that he would be a better asset if he got the ball a little more. That's just my opinion, but I don't know. Especially without Isaiah Pacheco, they're gonna have to rely on him a little more now than they were because he's out of the game for a little bit now. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, the Chiefs know how to win, so I think this game, like Trey said, I mean, they have bad games throughout the season. You're like, what are they doing? Are they like makes you question them, and then they go and play a game in the next week, and then you're like, okay, well that's the Chiefs. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. One thing, I'm going to redact something I said earlier. I said Mahomes threw 2 bad picks. I totally forgot Taylor Britt had a Odell Beckham Jr. level pick when he's guarding Xavier Worthy. He had 1 really bad pick, but that Cam Taylor Britt pick that's probably the catch of the year. And they immediately replayed Odell Beckham's catch from 2016, I think. That was an unbelievable pick. Kudos to him. He did get burnt by Rashee Rice pretty bad, though. Yeah. But just want to talk a little bit about the defense of the Chiefs. Lou Anarumo is the defensive coordinator for the Bengals. It seems like he's the one who gives the most fits to Mahomes. I think it might be a personnel thing or a scheme thing, but whatever he does really confuses Mahomes. But Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, he's done this in 2 games in a row now. He'll take the best receiver of each team. Last week, he thought the best receiver on the Ravens was Mark Andrews. They bracketed Mark Andrews, and they said, you can beat us with whoever. We don't care. In this game, they bracket Jamar Chase. Trent McDuffie might be the best cornerback in the NFL, by the way. They had Jamar Chase in a seatbelt all game, and they said, beat us with whoever else. And that we saw Mike Gesicki and the tight ends in the middle of the field be wide open because of this. And Mike Gesicki had a great game, 91 yards. I think all like the running, if they kept showing the stat over and over, the tight ends had like way more receiving yards than the wide receivers. That's just what Steve Spagnuolo does. This defense is still elite. They gave 25 to the Bengals, but I mean, this is KC still. If their offense is bad, their defense is going to bail them out. It's just the way it goes. And
Yeah.
my take personally on Travis Kelce, I think they might be saving him. They might be ramping him up because he's old. He's an old guy.
For sure.
They might be saving him for later in the season in the playoffs. That could maybe explain this like ghosting of Kelce almost. I'm not quite sure. He did have a really big play brought back due to a penalty, so that there was that as well. That one play where he catches, Mahomes does the thing where he like runs around 7 times, nobody can catch him. Then somehow Travis Kelce's like magically open in the middle of the field. He throws a perfect ball. Kelce's like 73 years old and he runs like 100 miles an hour and no one can tackle him. And in that same play, Kelce looked back like he was going to do a flea flicker. I was like, what am I watching? And then it got all pulled back because of penalty. That was crazy sequence.
Man, that they need discipline, man. They need discipline.
Yeah, they Juwan Taylor, buddy, if you're watching this, you can't false start every single time. You can't hold every time. Like, it's okay. You just can't do it. Just can't do it. I know. Great advice. You're welcome. Super good advice. But yeah, guys, that was a fun game. I watched all of it. Harrison Butker, I think, is him or Brandon Aubrey are the best kickers in the league. He kicked. Let me see the exact number. I want to get the number. He kicked a 51-yard field goal with 3 seconds left, down 2, and it wasn't even like it was directly down the middle. He has so much ice in his veins. He's unbelievably good. This is the year of the kicker, guys. Yeah. The kicker is like, I could see kickers getting paid $15 million a year soon.
Maybe,
because it's getting to the point where you get to the 50-yard line and you're like, oh well, we can at least we're gonna get 3 at least.
Yeah.
We saw Brandon Aubrey nail a 66-yarder in week 1. They almost let him try 71. They still should have. Mike McCarthy. But kickers winning games. Real quick before we move on, I want to ask a question about the Bengals, but about the kickers. Let me have my kicker spiel for a second. The Commanders played the Giants. The Commanders scored 0 touchdowns. The Giants scored 3 touchdowns, and the Commanders won.
Man, that's crazy.
That's insane.
That's insane.
I mean, guys, kickers are going to make $15 million in a couple of years.
They're very important in a game.
And apparently every kicker is good now. Everyone except the Giants kicker because they don't have one. They don't have one. But I've seen the Houston kicker Fairbairn nail Young Hoku of the Falcons, obviously clutch, Harrison Butker, Brandon Aubrey, Chris Boswell. I could name 100 kickers who are all incredible. So the year of the kicker, guys. But going back to the Bengals real quick, they started 0-2, the dreaded 0-2 start, which they have done the last 3 years in a row. And including one of those years, they went to the Super Bowl. So is it time to panic on the Bengals, or is this just how they do things?
I don't know. I mean, like you said, they do this almost every year. I think it's what happens, past this, because, they can go and have a great season after this. Or they can just keep going down this path where they just keep losing games. I mean, I don't know. I say it would be reasonable to start to panic a little bit on them, considering that, they're not doing anything really impressive so far.
Yeah. I think I'm not worried about the Bengals. Well, it depends on Joe Burrow's health. He's always injured. I don't know why, but I think I ain't worried about them though. I think Joe Burrow can bounce back from this past week, and the week after that against the Patriots. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Joe Burrow. I ain't gonna count him out either.
Yeah,
definitely not. They do it every year. I'm a little worried about Jamar Chase. It seems like he doesn't want to get tackled. He didn't get paid. He was probably going into this year I'll probably make anywhere from $90 to $100 million guaranteed, so I'll be good. But now he's making $0 guaranteed, and he doesn't want to get hit. He doesn't want to get injured. And
then,
I think, go ahead. T. Higgins out hurts him. Yeah. They can double him, they can bracket him, and it's. I'm a little worried about the Bengals because Jamar Chase has never been in this situation before. So, but thankfully for them, they, I believe, have a pretty easy schedule coming up here. Let me get the exact. I want to see here exactly. I should have this up earlier. They play what's today? They play the Commanders. They play the Panthers. The Commanders can't score a touchdown, and the Panthers are starting Andy Dalton. So there should be 2 wins. Maybe Andy Dalton has Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, some witchcraft magic that's in the NFL right now. I don't know. Then they play the Ravens. Joe Burrow owns the Ravens. He gets the Giants and the Browns and the Eagles. We could be talking here on week 8, and the Bengals are 6-2. I'm dead. Could be that way. So I'm interested to see if they're able to bounce back. Then they play Gardner Minshew and the Raiders, so that's a loss because Gardner Minshew's Tom Brady. So that one's definitely a loss. But yeah, I'm a smidge worried just because of the Jamar Chase situation. But if they get T. Higgins back, I think it'll help a lot. But
yeah, and Jamar Chase too. I saw that Adam Schefter said that he wants out after this season because he's not getting paid.
Yeah, he said he's not going to discuss any more contract stuff this year. So I'm a smidge worried because if he doesn't want to get tackled, it's going to affect how he runs routes. I'm really disappointed in the Bengals management. Joe Burrow deserves better than this. Come on. It's Jamar Chase. Just sign him. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to move on to Sunday Night Football. We're already over an hour in, and we just now getting to Sunday Night Football. Crazy week in the NFL. But CJ Stroud and the Texans out-dueling Caleb Williams and the Bears 19-13. Caleb showing obviously more growing pains. He had a better game than last week.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
not a high bar because he didn't even break 100 yards last week. But it seems like the Chicago O-line can't block.
No.
And I did a little bit of film study on them. To me, it was looking like the guards didn't know their assignments. And you would see multiple times, like one guy, like for instance, Danielle Hunter or Will Anderson wrecked that game. He's awesome, by the way. But it seemed like multiple times the tackle and the guard would be like there'd be like 3 guys on one, and there's just like a wide open gap. I just don't know I don't think the O-line's very good. Do we think Caleb can overcome this O-line issues moving forward, Jaden?
I think the only way he could do that is if he gets rid of the ball faster. I mean, obviously, but I mean, without an O-line to, help you set up a play decently. I mean, he got sacked 7 times.
Man.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just because of the lack of an O-line. I mean, the defense is just breaking through them and just getting right to him. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be very hard to overcome if you don't have an O-line who's going to, actually care about their quarterback.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned, and I'll say something real quick, and Trey, you can go. It's so Caleb had I believe it was 2.6 seconds was his average time to throw the ball, which would have ranked 3rd fastest. He's like trying to get it out fast.
Yeah,
his O-line's just horrible. Like Trey, what can this guy do? Like, do me and you need to suit up and go protect for him? Like, what's going on here?
Maybe we all need 3 to go do that.
Dude, bro. Hey, call us up. We're available.
Because man, I mean, Christmas is coming up too. got a Santa Claus for online.
Yep. And he's gonna put me down the chimney, and I'm gonna be right under Caleb's tree. I'm gonna be like, hey buddy, I'm your new left tackle. What's
Yeah.
up?
But not only that, I think Caleb, he looked good in the first quarter. He threw some good throws. He has a strong arm.
He did.
But if he gets guys from online, man, he's gonna tear it up.
I think he's still a little scared, a little nervous.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
It definitely shows. I mean, like you said, growing pains though, because he's improving slowly, like by each game. But I think he needs a little more confidence behind him, and I think he can really be a really good asset to the Bears.
For sure. I mean, this game, like Caleb got sacked 7 times, had 2 interceptions, and he had a chance to win the game at the end.
Yeah.
This Chicago Bears defense is legit really good. They're really good. I think Caleb will be fine. I'm a little worried about his health if he keeps getting hit like this. I don't know if they could make any midseason acquisitions for some kind of O-line. I'm not really sure if that's possible, but they need something for him. But moving over to the other side of the ball, the Texans, CJ Stroud, that bad man, the new bad man, move over Aaron Rodgers. We got a new bad man in town. CJ Stroud and Nico Collins, my word, what a dominant duo they are. I was watching the game and I was getting like frustrated because in Madden, after like the 4th time Nico Collins had like a 20-yard reception, I would have just doubled him. I'm like, guys, double, like, please, you got to double this guy. He is killer. He is so like, he's such a large human being, but he's so athletic and fast. I mean, he's in my opinion, I think he's a top 10 wide receiver in the league, maybe higher.
Sure.
He is awesome. He's really awesome. Trey, do you think the Texans are a legit AFC contender? Like, could they beat the Chiefs?
I think they're a threat. I think right now, I think beat the Chiefs because Kelsey ain't looking the same. Mahomes is frustrated at the O-line and him. But because the Texans have all, they can compete with them. I think CJ Stroud is a top 5 QB right now in the NFL.
Oh, he might be 2. He might be 2.
For me, I have him 3 behind Josh Allen and Mahomes.
That's fair.
Yeah. That defense is really good too.
What about Derek Carr?
Man, don't do that.
I'm kidding.
The guy. I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I trust in CJ Stroud a lot.
Yeah.
Stephen A. If you watch this, sorry about this, man. Aaron Rodgers is not the bad man anymore. It's CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud, he's a bad man, man. Oh, he is so good. He's gotten to that level where I'm like, so there's been a couple times where I've watched quarterbacks like on 3rd down where I'm like, they're gonna get it. Mahomes, Brady, Aaron Rodgers in his prime, Derek Carr in the first 2 weeks of the 2024-25 season, Baker Mayfield this year, and Josh Allen in that one playoff run where I was just like, he's going to get this 3rd down.
Yeah.
I think CJ Stroud's like that level. I would have him 3rd too because I think Mahomes and Allen are 1 and 2. But man, CJ's a dog. He is so – I didn't even think he had a great game, but he had like this game he did enough. And he got Nico the ball enough. Joe Mixon went out. That's a little worrisome for that run game. But I agree with you. I think they could be a threat to the Chiefs. This team's legit, man. There's legit. And it seems like Stephon Diggs has taken his role as wide receiver too. Like he seems comfortable. He looks happier. I just don't think him and Josh Allen vibed very well. But he seems like he is aware how good Nico is. Guys, Nico, I was watching, and I thought Nico Collins was a linebacker. He's so like
big.
Like he is a huge man, and he is so good. Let me get his. I want to get his height and stuff because he's 6'4". He's 6'4", 230. he weighs almost as much as Derrick Henry, by the way. Great team. Will Anderson Jr. was my big takeaway from that defense. Getting Daniil Hunter to help to be on the other edge, guys, this defense, man, with D'Amico Ryan's scheme, with all those weapons, Mario Edwards Jr., Will Anderson, like Daniil Hunter, obviously. This is a good squad. I'm really looking forward to watching them moving forward there.
And people are saying that he might have a sophomore slump. That ain't the case this year, and I ain't the case for CJ Stroud.
No, he's. I feel like he's one of those guys where even if he's not playing great, he's not going to lose you the game. He makes no mistakes.
Yeah.
He's thrown like 4 interceptions in 18 games. Or something crazy like that. He's just so consistently good. He won't lose you the game. He'll make a throw where you're like, the Carolina Panthers picked who over this guy? Like, yeah. No disrespect to Bryce Young, obviously, but CJ Stroud, that's a bad man. Move over Aaron Rodgers. There's a new sheriff in town, buddy.
Yeah. I think one more thing before we move on, but with the Bears, I think because you were saying that, Caleb Williams is, trying to get the ball out fast, and, you said he averaged about 2 seconds before he threw the ball. I feel like it's almost his mindset is if I don't throw the ball in 2 seconds, then
I'm gonna get it blown to smithereens, which is very true. 7 sacks. I mean,
and if I'm him, I that would add to me being scared, to play the game even, because 7 sacks and taking that many hits is not good for his body.
It's not.
It won't keep him in the season for that long if this keeps happening.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the same thing happen to Andrew Luck. Had to retire early, couldn't get him in O-line. If the Bears can't do anything this year, next year should definitely priority be O-line. I think Caleb Williams is extremely talented. He made some throws that I was very impressed with.
For sure.
As he continues to learn how to read defenses and learn all these different coverages. The NFL's hard, guys. The defenses are so good now. They're so good. I mean, if you look at all the numbers, passing, all the passing numbers, they're all down. The scoring's all down. The defenses have found something. And I think mixing up these coverages, overloading sides of the line and sending different stunts and opening up all these gaps for linebackers to just like blitz through, it's going to be rough for Caleb. I'm very worried about his health and his mental health too, because if you saw him after the game, CJ Stroud tried to talk to him, and Caleb, and I don't blame him. I don't think this is anything bad on Caleb. He's like, man, I just got beat up. I'm trying to get to the locker room. He didn't say that, but that's what his face said. Like, he got beat up. Big respect to CJ Stroud for trying to, give him some pointers and some love. But yeah, that's a bad man. It's a bad man, guys.
Yep.
That's a super, super good team. Moving on to Monday Night Football. I mean, game after game after game that was awesome. Saw the Atlanta Falcons taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in Lincoln Stadium in Philadelphia. Kirk Cousins, primetime Kirko, goes down there, leads a miraculous comeback in an incredible game-winning drive. A lot to talk about here, but I kind of want to get started here. Nick Sirianni deciding to run or to pass the ball on third down at near the goal line. Saquon drops the ball, and then Kirk obviously goes down and scores. I want to break this down. I want to talk about the offensive decision to pass there. I want to talk about why that decision was made, and then we'll go over to the Falcons here. But Trey, Nick Sirianni deciding to throw it instead of running it with Saquon Barkley, who has been dominant this season. What's going on? Like, what kind of decision? I mean, that was like a Madden. That's like I would do that in Madden, like just because I like to throw. Because I don't like. I'm like, yeah, I'll just do play action, like easy. But it's Madden. Your guy's not going to drop the ball, right? So like, it obviously Saquon dropped, but Nick Sirianni put them in a situation where that could happen. Like, what's your take on this?
Well, I think it was not. I don't think it was a bad call because I think two parts also that they stopped Saquon on a run. I think if I'm not mistaken, and I think if Saquon catches that ball, they probably win the game
Oh yeah, they just kneel and it's over.
or kneel it because. But you gotta catch the ball, man. I know it's football. I mean, they're paying $30 million for you to catch the ball, and I don't think it was a bad call at all. I think that it's just football, man. Things happen in sports.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we disagree here. I think it was so on first down and 10, Saquon goes for four yards. Right, good. On 2nd and 6, he goes for 3 yards. Now it's 3rd and 3. The clock is moving. The Atlanta at this point is out of timeouts. They just used their last one. So here's my thought process. If I'm Nick Sirianni, okay, the tush push has worked this game because the Eagles, the Falcons don't have the personnel to handle that.
Right.
So they Jalen Hurts got a touchdown with a tush push. So in my thought, okay, 3rd and 3. Saquon Barkley has averaged almost 4.5 yards rushing this game.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, if I'm Nick Sirianni, I go Saquon rush again. He probably gets the first down. Let's say he doesn't. Let's say he gets 2 yards. 4th and 1 now. Okay. I'm going to tush push in the game. They can't stop it. They prove they can't stop it. At that point, okay, say you don't get the first down there. The Eagles are the Falcons are on their 3-yard line with a minute left, and they have to go at least kick a field goal to win. That's going to be rough. But I think they get the first down anyways. Instead, you pass it. When you pass the ball, there's a chance it's going to drop. It's just the way it goes. It's like in football, there's a chance you're going to drop the pass. And then it turns into this situation where the clock is stopped. They kick a field goal. Now the Falcons have a minute 40 to go down the field. And it's just like, I'm really confused. I don't really know what was going on there, but I do disagree with you on that. It was a good call. He obviously should have caught it, but just run the ball. He was killing them all game. Like, just run it, and you have a good O-line. Just pick a guard, pick a tackle, and just run. I don't know. It was just a debacle there towards the end.
Yeah, I'll be the tiebreaker here, but I'm gonna have to agree with Nick on this one.
I dropped something. Sorry.
If I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm confirming the play, a couple times to make sure I'm hearing him right.
Yeah. You want me to do what, Coach? You want me to pass?
Yeah.
Huh? Okay. Like I'll say this, and you can go again. If they run the ball and don't get it, you can still run the clock like way down, and then kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, because I mean, another thing with passing is you also risk the chance of getting intercepted, and you risk it being dropped, you risk it being intercepted. I mean, those two things, can really cost you the game. I mean, their rushing game, the entire game, like it was, they played great rushing, and like Nick was saying with the tush push, I mean, it was working and it was being effective. So the choice to pass the ball in a situation like this, where you are basically in the end zone, and you just need a few more yards to get there. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't get paid millions of dollars to make these calls, but I mean, me personally, if I'm doing that, I'm running the ball, and
Yeah. The only thing me and Nick Sirianni have in common is that our first names are Nick. That's literally it. But I mean, like, just the thought, like, you're down. It's 3rd and 3. You run the ball. Like me, I run it. You have Saquon freaking Barkley, okay, who's been awesome this season. You've paid him a lot of money to come do this. He comes out. If you don't get it, say you don't get it. you have the choice to either tush push it in the game or, okay, we're going to run the clock down to 40 seconds now, and then we'll kick the field goal. So now instead of having a minute and 50 to score, Kirk Cousins has 40 seconds to score. And they were able to run a full 2-minute drill because of that. And instead of 40 seconds, the plays are going to change here, have to be a lot deeper downfield. And we're going to talk, we'll switch over to the Falcons side of the ball here soon. But that is just a coaching, like complete mess up. And that's me. I like that we disagreed. This is like one of the first things we have disagreed on, other than the Aaron Rodgers selection on the top 5. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's very strange. But it are we worried about the Eagles? The Eagles have lost, I believe, 8 out of their last 9 games. What's going on here?
Yeah, I am a little bit. I think no matter what, and despite what happened that play, on a fourth down, you had to go for it. I would have gone for it because Kirk Cousins in the primetime moment, man, he'll kill you. He'll eat you up. And I'm a little worried about the coaching a little bit. Some things I'll look back at the game, but even before that possession, especially in the first half, they scored 7 points, I believe. That's not good football at all. And that was just I agree with you about that point. The first half was terrible for the Eagles' offensive side. Except for like one play, I think he scored a touchdown that game against let me see, who was it? Devontae Smith.
Yeah, that was great. That was a good throw.
Yeah, that's about it. Other than that, the offense looked terrible in the first half. Saquon carried them for the first half as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick Sirianni's on the hot seat this year, big time.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I've never been a big fan of his. I think he's a little too full of himself. I don't know. I'm not the biggest. He writes checks that his team has to cash, and that defense looks like that secondary. They drafted Cooper DeJean and they drafted Quinion Mitchell. Quinion Mitchell, I think, has been good. Cooper DeJean just doesn't play. He saw 3 seconds of game time, and then they trade or they pick up Devin White, and it was like, oh man, Devin White's a stud, good linebacker. He was the D&P coach's decision.
Yeah,
He didn't play, and the coach just didn't want him to. It's not because he was hurt or sick. I don't know, Jaden. Jaden, what do you think on the Eagles? Are we panicking on the Eagles? I'm panicking. I'm hitting the panic button.
I'm with you there. And the biggest thing comes down to, what we've been talking about is just the coaching. Because they've got great players. It's not,
I think their roster outside of their secondary, I think, is fine.
Yeah. It's just we almost just have to look at how they're playing, they're wanting to play the ball, and I don't think that comes down to the players. I think that just comes down to the coaches. So, I don't know. I'm panicking on them, and I feel like it's more of a coaching thing than it is the actual players.
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk about the end possession of Philly, then we'll move over to Atlanta. I keep saying that, but we'll move over to Atlanta here in a bit. But so the Atlanta scores. We'll just talk about Atlanta now. So they get the ball. Kirk Cousins just goes, beast mode. He goes gash after gash after gash after gash. So they get the ball with 1:30 left. Cousins 21-yard pass 11-yard pass to Kyle Pitts for the first down. Kyle Pitts sighting. Then a 21-yard pass to Darnell Mooney. Then a 26-yard pass to Darnell Mooney. Then a 5-yard pass to Drake London. Then he finally had an incompletion in the end zone. And then Drake London deep fried Darius Slay on the nastiest corner route. Absolutely. The zig. He was gone. Touchdown. What were the defense? What was going on? It was this more of like a 2-minute drill thing where it's kind of hard to deal with. It was that secondary got torched. What's y'all's take on that?
I think another person that did good too was Bijan Robinson too. He tore up. He tore up.
He had an awesome game. Yeah, he was
He
great.
tore it up big time, and I think that defense does not look the same at all as it did 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Mm-hmm.
Even the beginning of the season last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think whatever happened, we probably had mental collapse still from losing to the Bucks. But man, that defense is awful, man. It was awful all game. It was awful all game. Not just overtime. Not overtime. The last but overall was awful. It was really, really bad.
Yeah.
It
was super bad. I just want to say one thing about CJ Gardner-Johnson. CJ Gardner-Johnson. He, at the beginning of the year, switched his number to number 8 in honor of Kobe Bryant.
Oh,
he would be disgusted with you right now.
That's disrespectful, man.
That's disrespectful. You cannot put Kobe Bryant's number on your chest and then get torched every single week. Man. You should get banned from the NFL. I'm calling Roger Goodell right now. Embarrassing. Bad.
Kobe's rolling in his grave right now, man.
He definitely did not have any of that Mamba mentality.
No, is the Mamba mentality giving up a 70-yard touchdown every week? Man. Apparently. My Lord. You should be ashamed of yourself. Anyways, so should Darius Slay.
And Jalen Carter, too. He did terrible.
Just the whole defensive unit. I'm just so yeah. So Falcons, Kirk finally looked pretty comfortable in that offense. It was kind of a rough game. And then the 2-minute drill at the end, Bijan kind of had an awesome game. I thought Bijan had a couple insane runs. And Tyler Algier was serviceable too, their second back. But Kirk dicing in that final quarter, I think probably helps his confidence a lot. He looked a little in the first week, he looked a little nervous of that Achilles still.
Yeah.
Didn't look too comfortable in the offense, but it looks like he's kind of easing into it. What's the ceiling for this Falcon teams? Because apparently what we thought was one of the worst divisions in football has apparently the two best teams in football in the Buccaneers and the Saints. So what's the realistic ceiling for this team and apparently a tough NFC South division? Trey?
He did tell Troy Aikman that he ain't 100% healed yet from his Achilles injury. I don't know if y'all saw that, but if you stay healthy, you have a legit shot winning that division. I think Buccaneers right now. I don't think Derek Carr will last that long. I think this is a little.
Yeah, you'd think not.
I think the Cowboys had a little meltdown. And the Panthers are come on. The Panthers come on now. But
they might not win a game, guys.
We all need to go out there and play for them.
They're tanking for Arch Manning or well, I guess it'd be Quinn Ewers, but
they need us for a new team for Christmas.
They do. Christmas is coming up, like Trey said. Let's just move him out of Carolina. No disrespect for any Carolinians, but you guys deserve better than the Panthers. What?
And the average ticket is $1.50.
Yeah, $1.50. Yeah. I vote we send the Panthers to London. Let the UK have the Panthers, and let's move it like a good team to Carolina. I feel bad for any any off topic, but I think they could potentially win the division. I have the Bucks winning that division now. But Jaden, what do you think? Could they win the division? Could they win a playoff game? What's the ceiling?
I definitely think that they will make it to the get a shot to win the division. I think they'll be there close to the end, but I could see them going to the playoffs for sure. I think that if as long as they keep playing like they are and they don't wet the bed somewhere throughout the season, but I think they have a good shot
for sure. Yeah. Good Monday night game.
For sure.
That's the whole slate. That's for the week 2. That was a lot. We're almost an hour and a half in talking just about week 2. So we're going to kind of speed through the rest of this here, but moving over to college football, we're only talking about one team because there is a new number 1 in the rankings. And if anyone was asking or watched from last week's episode, I'm pretty sure we all agreed that we thought Texas was the best team in college football.
Right.
And the AP Top 25 agrees with us. Texas is now ranked number 1. They had an interesting week. They played UTSA. Quinn Ewers went down, and then Arch Manning came in and lit the game on fire. He's a Manning that can move and has aura. So I'm like actually really concerned for the league because he's UTSA. I get it. Texas is going to have some tough games coming up soon. They get to go to Oklahoma. They're going to whoop Oklahoma. They get to play Georgia in Austin. That game's going to be awesome. Pumped for that. So I'm not quite sure on the Quinn Ewers injury. I would love to see Arch be able to play against at least get to the Mississippi State game, but I'm not quite sure on his injury. I'll have to look that up a little bit later. But like, what are we thinking? If Quinn Ewers is out, can Arch Manning maintain this level of play, Trey?
Yes, he's a Manning. He's a Manning, man. Look at his great grandpa when he played for the NFL. Look at Peyton and Eli. That guy was born football ready.
He's fast.
He looks like his grandpa, man.
That rushing touchdown he had, he was clocked faster than any run than that run that Tyreek Hill had on that 90-yard touchdown.
That guy's a beast. Man, that guy, man. I think he will. If Quinn Ewers is out for a long time, he can definitely lead that team to a national championship. I think they have a chance to win it all too.
Yeah, I think Arches. I mean, he went in and just started slinging it. I get it. I get it's a bad team, but he threw a corner route, or not a corner. He threw a fade. Let me see. I want to get the exact because I want to give credit because it was a great fade route. Let me see exactly to who it was.
Because with Georgia, I will say this before we get that ready. Georgia almost lost to Kentucky, man. Like that's kind of scary. Dude.
Yeah. Jonte Cook in the fourth quarter, he ran a fade, and Arch Manning put an NFL level ball right in his hands. I mean, throwing the fade is difficult. It's hard to throw a fade. He threw an absolute. I mean, all of his other touchdowns, everyone was wide open by 73 miles. I get it, but that play and that huge run, that 67-yard run where he was just juking guys out of their socks. I agree with you. I think he could lead him to the national title. I think because he played so well, Texas is going to be like, we can ease Quinn back in. We don't have to rush him back. But Jaden, what do you think on this Arch Manning situation?
I mean, I agree with Trey. I mean, he is a Manning for sure. I mean, he's got the blood of great football players.
Yeah.
And, I think that, he has the potential to, keep this this energy going and keep this, movement going. And I think he can keep it up.
For sure, man. He's awesome. I can't wait to. I hate that I like watching Texas play. It really disgusts me, but they're a really good football team, and they're fun to watch. But so what I do is I'll go watch them, and then I'll go throw up in my bathroom, and then go watch them, and then I do that. I feel like that helps it balance out. But yeah, Arch Manning, absolute stud. Excited to see him in the starting role next year and see just how far this Texas team can go in general. I hope that they lose in the national title game in its heartbreaking fashion. That would be really awesome. But anyways, yeah, that's all the college football talk. There's a couple other games, but nothing of major note. Texas Tech finally looked like an actual football team. I'm going to talk about this real quick because I've been very, very harsh on Texas Tech. And the first thing everyone's going to say is, well, they played another no-name team. Yeah, they did play a no-name team. Do I care? No, because they lost to a no-name team. So I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. They played against North Texas, dominated them 66-21. Thank God. That's all I got to say.
Podcast, bro. They watched our episode.
They watched us. Joey McGuire watched. He's like, I can't disappoint my guy, Nick. I got to step it up. Baron Morton had a great game. Taj Brooks, thank God he's back. I love you, Taj. Thank you so much, buddy. You're the best. Hopefully this will turn them around. They play Arizona State, and then they play Cincinnati, then they play Arizona. I mean, the schedule's not too tough until Iowa State. They have to play Iowa State and they have to play Oklahoma. I still think the Colorado game should be first to 100 points. That'd be pretty funny. But finally, thank you, Texas Tech, for not embarrassing me for the third time in a row. But yeah, excited for the college football season. Expanded playoff should be good. We'll keep talking about it a little bit, but we're going to wrap up here in a little bit. I want to move over to the NBA because my glorious, precious, beautiful Pookie Bear, LeBron James. Obviously, we have to talk about LeBron.
Yeah.
I contained myself, okay, guys? I didn't talk about him in the first episode.
Yeah.
I can't do it again. I got to talk about him.
Man.
He keeps making history. He came off another 25-point per game season in year 7,000. He's been playing in the league for longer than like most of anyone's been alive. He had a career high.
Woj.
He outlasted Woj, which is crazy. But he had a career high 3-point percentage the past season. We're some very, very early thoughts on where we see him next season. ESPN Top 50 has him ranked 10. Is that too accurate? Is that accurate? Is it too high, too low? What are your thoughts, Trey? On beat, you better watch yourself.
That's too low, bro.
Too low? Where are you putting Braun?
Okay, so I know he's not in his prime anymore.
One. I'm kidding.
For me, I haven't won. I do. Here's why.
You made my camera go blurry. Well, you said did you say one?
Here's why.
Okay. I'll let you talk.
He hit his second prime. I never seen another guy hit his second prime that long in the NBA. Dwight Howard doesn't count. He plays in Japan. LeBron.
Hey, no Dwight Howard disrespect here.
LeBron hit his second prime. He may not be physically like he was like in 2016, 2018, but he has his mind. In his mind for his body, man. To me, he's won. I get it. The Lakers had a bad season last year. They lost to the Nuggets, but you know what? I trust LeBron James over anybody in the NBA. I don't care who it is.
Okay.
Bold statement.
Jaden, how are you feeling about that?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, he definitely deserves top 10. I think putting him anywhere outside of that is definitely way too low for him. I mean, he's proven and shown many times that, that his age doesn't depict how he's going to play and how long he's been in the game. Because a lot of people start thinking, oh, you're getting older, you're going to slow down. He hasn't slowed down.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, exactly, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, definitely deserves top 10.
Yeah, I think 10's a good spot. Listen, I love LeBron probably more than anyone. I think putting him at the best player in the NBA is a little much. I get where you're coming from, but he definitely. So the main thing about him now is he used to be dominant on both sides of the floor. He doesn't have that stamina anymore because he's literally 40 years old.
Yeah.
So he kind of has to he put on a defensive masterclass against Joker in the Olympics, by the way, because he had a team that could score. So he locked them down in the fourth quarter, by the way. My freaking goat.
And he also led the Olympic Team USA in defensive stats.
He led him in everything but points per game because Steph Curry went crazy in the last two games. Second in points, first in rebounds, first in assists. He was the MVP of the team for a reason. Sorry, Steph fans. He wasn't the MVP of the game of the tournament because he had 2 good games. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I think out of LeBron 1, I know that I'm a little biased towards him, but
a little okay.
A little?
Having him 1 as a 40-year-old
It's not a little.
and
tell me another 40-year-old's done that.
nobody. But that's the thing. We're not comparing him to other 40-year-olds.
I don't trust Jason Tatum. Don't trust that guy.
Okay.
I don't trust.
Okay, well, Jason Tatum did just win a championship, but it's okay. Jaylen Brown won. I get it. Okay. Here's my thing.
I don't trust Luka that much. I don't have him over LeBron because the way he cries a lot in the court. I don't know the NBA Finals, man. Watch the games. I was disappointed how the way he was performing.
Okay. All right.
Disappointed by that.
Okay.
I don't trust KD over him because Anthony Edwards shut the heck out of the guy up. Like he put the guy in the poster. I can hang on my wall.
That's fine. I'm fine with you having LeBron over KD.
Okay, it's signed by Anthony Edwards one day. But LeBron in his second prime, man. The Olympics, man. I thought this guy ain't gonna do that much in the Olympics. I think he's gonna rest a lot.
No, he took that seriously.
In the Olympics, man, he literally bullied Dylan Brooks, who's like 10 years younger than the guy.
Again.
And he shut down Jokic too, who's an MVP.
He did shut down Jokic. That was awesome.
MVP, who's 7'1", 300+ pounds. He's like a blob. He shut the guy down. Wembanyama, he pushed that out of the way. He said, "Get off me, little boy. You're all too little for me." That's what he did. That's what he did to Wembanyama. He had his second prime.
There we go. He said it, guys. He's the GOAT.
Finally.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, if you have LeBron as the best player in the NBA as a 40-year-old, you have to have him as the GOAT because that's absurd.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that guy bullied. He bullied.
Okay, hold on. Pause. Time out.
Here's the real question.
Is he GOAT? You have him GOAT by himself over MJ? Like no tied nonsense. Oh. You said all that. You can't do. Never mind. I don't want to.
Someone the GOAT and it'd be a tie.
I don't want to get into this. We're falling apart here. We're all very passionate about LeBron, as you can tell. We got a little sidetracked there. We were asking about if we thought it was too high. Now we're doing a GOAT debate. First time LeBron's mentioned, this is what happens. But yeah, I think 10 is probably a good number because he can't do it on both sides of the floor at the same time anymore. Another thing that helped him in the FIBA games was that it's 40-minute games, not 48. He didn't have to play nearly as long. So he could play, 30 minutes or whatever, but he's getting lots of breaks. So I think that's a good number. I don't have the list here, so I don't know what it was.
I have it right here.
Okay, tell me the list.
So top 10.
Yeah.
So at number 10, hold on, let me get to it. So at number 10, they have Anthony Davis. They have LeBron at 9.
Okay.
They have Shea. He's at number 8.
Who?
Shea, SGA.
Yeah, that one. That guy.
Trey's about. Go ahead, continue.
Number 7.
Spot. Okay. A weak team, number 1.
Okay.
Number 1 a weak team.
Number 7, Kevin Durant, KD.
Oh my!
Oh, it gets better. Number 6, Jason Tatum.
Dude.
Number 5, Mr. Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry over LeBron James.
Number 4, Luka Doncic.
That's kind of low.
Number 3.
Oh, it better not be Embiid.
Embiid.
Oh my goodness.
Number 2. Any guesses?
Giannis. Joker. Giannis is 1.
Giannis.
Wow.
Where's
Number 1.
Where's Anthony Edwards at?
Not in the top 10. Let's see where he's at.
Who put the rankings together? Didn't they be They beat Joe Justin, man. Who put that list together?
Let's see. Oh, I only have the top 10 here. Let me see here.
Wow. this is going to devolve very quickly, so we should go over this fast. I think if someone had LeBron at 9 or 10, I'd be okay with it. I think he's probably a top 5 player still. I wouldn't put Curry over him. I wouldn't put KD over him. I would put AD over him. I wouldn't put Jason Tatum over him. I think the only people I think that are like clearly better, I'm going to say Giannis, Joker, Luka, and I think that's it. I think LeBron's 4 actually. I'm not putting SGA over him. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm surprised Anthony Edwards is now in that top 10 list.
So I have him 4 right now. That's probably biased. I just can't. I can't
Where's
put
Ant.
Where would I put him?
I put him 5. From
I think I'd put Shea over him. I'd put just because I really did. He got cooked in the Dallas series. I worry about some things about him. I'd probably have. I can't put him over Curry.
Who?
Ant. I can't put him over Curry. Not yet. One more season, and I could, but I got to give respect to Curry because of the Olympics. I'd probably have him 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get Joel Embiid off my top 10. That's all I'm saying. Get him out of there. He can't play. He's injured all the time.
Okay.
How about Giannis, man? Giannis number 1.
I can see it.
Down in the freaking playoffs for 3 years. He hasn't won a chip in 3 years. He hasn't done anything in 3 years, actually.
Dealt with injury. His team's been injured. It happens.
All right. Here's 20 to 11 here. Number 20, we have Karl Anthony Towns. 19, we have Jaylen Brown. 18,
Okay.
we have Paul George.
Who?
Paul George.
What number?
18.
Okay.
17, Jamal Murray. 16, there's Bam. 15, Donovan Mitchell. 14, Damian Lillard. 13, Anthony Edwards. 12, Jimmy Butler. And number 11, Devin Booker.
Jimmy Butler? Who made this list, man? What has Jimmy Butler done? And what has he ever done? He doesn't even play except for the postseason.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Well,
Man.
Interesting.
That's blasphemy.
Yeah, we're excited about the NBA season. We're a little passionate about LeBron specifically. So, sorry this devolved into that. We had to cover that. Moral of the story is LeBron James is the GOAT. If you have MJ as the GOAT, I respect you, but you're wrong.
Unless you have the tie.
I actually disrespect that more. I'd rather you just have MJ as your GOAT. To be honest, that's just stupid. But anyways, we can save this. We'll have a whole GOAT debate. I'll break it down. We'll do that eventually. Maybe do a whole episode. I might need a whole 2 hours to do that. But before we wrap up, like mentioned a little bit earlier, Adrian Wojnarowski has retired from being an insider in the NBA, ESPN. I have. I remember back in high school having Twitter. I actually got Twitter to follow him. That's why I got Twitter, and I had his tweets on notification. Like I'd get notifications from his tweets, and getting the Woj bomb. I remember when KD went to the Warriors, that Woj bomb. I remember when Kawhi went to the Raptors, Woj bomb. I remember when LeBron signed with the Lakers, Woj bomb. Like he's been a really integral part of the NBA, especially just fans. Like the whole rivalry with him and Shams. I'm really gonna miss having. It's kind of weird because like he's not a talk show guy. He's not like a sportscaster or anything like that, but he was such an integral part of like being an NBA fan. Like seeing a Woj bomb was just like, it's just really cool. So I'm definitely going to miss him. A legendary career. Hopefully retirement and, being in basketball management is something he wants to do. He's getting a lot of his time back, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Knowing that insider is pretty hard too. I mean, you have like 1,000 connections, man. You can't really.
Mhm.
I admired
Yeah.
him, Adam Schefter, for doing that. But I agree with Nick. I'm gonna miss the guy. Who's pretty accurate, really accurate. I didn't like Broussard as an insider at all. I think he's better on a talk show host than he is an insider, in my opinion. But hey, Woj, man, watch this, man. Got a lot of love for you, and good luck in your next journey, man.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Dude, how about
Well,
you?
Jaden's like, I don't care about Woj.
No, it's just. I mean, it's more the same. I mean,
He was awesome.
you. I mean, he he was definitely like y'all are saying. He was definitely a great insider. I mean, he knew his stuff for sure, and he definitely did all his research. And you know, I mean, to do that for that long as a career, I mean, that's not something that's necessarily easy to do because I mean that takes dedication to everything. And
Yeah, 37 years for doing insiding
yeah,
Crazy.
for the
so
NBA. That's insane.
I mean,
Crazy legendary.
yeah, you have to watch everything in the NBA to
You gotta have like 10,000 phones on you, man.
He did. You'd see him get preparing for draft night. He had just phones lined up. But yeah, awesome career, awesome person. Hopefully retirement's great for him. That's all we have for this week. Super long episode. Sorry, almost 2 hours. A lot to cover in the NFL. We didn't even get to really break down any of the upcoming games. Thursday night football might not be that fun to watch. So Patriots, Jets, we're not really going to talk much about that. But we'll be back again either next Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on the schedule. And we'll discuss and break down everything that happened. But yeah, thanks again for joining us. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully see you guys again in the next one. Appreciate it. Everyone have a good night.